McCarthy will return as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones made the announcement Wednesday night. McCarthy has won at least 12 games in 3 of his 4 seasons, but has just 1 playoff win over that stretch. Thought we'd switch it up and do Luke Who's Talking over at the desk here. So, Luke, I just told everybody the big news. Jerry Jones is keeping Mike McCarthy around. What did you think when you heard that news?
I was a bit surprised. I mean, Jay, we talked about it last week. I thought that Jerry Jones was going to take the keys to the castle and hand them over to Bill Belichick. Clearly, that's not going to be happening this year. I think what surprised me was, yes, Mike McCarthy has won a lot of games here. But I believe this is a win-now roster. When I say win now, I mean win the Super Bowl. That's how they're feeling in Dallas. And you look at just the end of the season, and let's not even go into the playoffs. The Cowboys sit here. They get absolutely smoked by Buffalo. Now, granted, there was a big torrential downpour, but, I mean, Buffalo ran for over 200 yards, completely embarrassed them. In this stretch, they lost to Miami, the only team above 500 that Miami beat. They really lost to the Detroit Lions, except the referee couldn't understand the difference between number 70 and number 68 when reporting. And their only win is the Washington Commanders. Then they go for a home playoff game against the 7 seed and get, I mean, absolutely blown out in their own building. So I am pretty shocked at this thing just because the roster's there, the talent's there. And you would think that when a team finishes this poorly, and Jerry Jones, and you look at his past and just kind of the person he is, I really thought that he was going to move on and try and find someone else. But clearly that's not the case.
Let's talk Bills, Chiefs. Of course, Bills won the regular season meeting this year. Chiefs have won the last 2 playoff meetings. How much pressure, Luke, do you think Josh Allen and company are feeling? And can they overcome that pressure and finally get past Mahomes and company and move on here?
Well, I think Josh Allen specifically is going to have a lot of pressure on him to perform in this game. And why I say that, Jay, is first, this defense has just been ravaged with injuries. And it starts way back. You know, they've had guys all year. The main name I think of is Matt Milano. You know, to me, that was kind of the heart and soul of their defense. They've been playing without him for a long time. And they've been playing well. You know, and I look at Sean McDermott, what he's doing. He's really disguising a lot of coverages. And I think Sean McDermott's done a tremendous job with a banged-up defense. But now my question is, heading into this week, you lose potentially another 5 guys from last week. And Rasul Douglas is supposed to be back. We'll see how he progresses this week, which would be a huge ordeal for the Bills. But you're looking at more injuries on the defensive side of the football. And you have 2 days less to prepare. And I'll say on top of that, you know, I just mentioned how Sean McDermott with this injured defense, what he's been doing is really mixing up coverages, really out-scheming teams and confusing them offensively. Well, now you've got a Chiefs team who has at least seen this once before when they played in the regular season. So the deck has been stacked against them. And again, I mentioned this briefly, Jay, but it is a big ordeal at this time of the year to have not 1, but 2 full less days of preparation going into a playoff game playing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So that's all the bad news for Bills fans. However, the good news is the Bills have seemingly found a way to get things done. I mean, they were 6-6. They've won every game since then. They won the division, and it has not been pretty. You know, there's been a couple games, we talked about the Cowboys, where that looked good, but they did not blow out Easton Stick and the Chargers. They did not blow out the Patriots and Mac Jones. And last week, there were some moments where it looked like the Steelers were going to try and make a game of it. Again, I thought they controlled it. I can see why that happened. But they found a way to get it done. And you talked about Josh Allen, the pressure. He's finding a way to win. Again, I don't love the turnovers here and there, but this team has found a way to win. It's going to be even tougher given the circumstances, but they've built some resiliency. I expect a great game this weekend.
I can't wait for that one. Very intrigued as well about the Lions and Bucs. You know what, Luke? You might love this one because you and I love to talk about secondary markets. Did you know this Lions and Bucs game is the highest priced divisional game ever in the secondary market? Average prices for tickets are going for $1,200. And we saw what Baker Mayfield and company did to the Eagles last week. So are these Lions fans who are spending all this money on secondary tickets, are they going to be disappointed this weekend, or are they going to be happy at Ford Field?
I think they're going to be happy, Jay. I mean, you look at the Lions-Rams game, and to me, that was the ultimate playoff game. You want to talk about a great, great football game. How many times, Jay, have I been on at the desk with you on a Sunday or Monday night, rolling my eyes, throwing my arms around, talking about the garbage we just watched? The Lions-Rams is what I think football is all about. What was the difference in the game? Lions red zone defense. They were able to hold the Rams to a couple field goals. The Lions had great success running the football in the first half. They're able to throw the ball the entire game, in my opinion. The Rams, I mean, Matthew Stafford was getting banged up, still slinging the ball around everywhere. It was hard-nosed. It was all hands on deck. Both teams put it all out there and played clean football. You look at the Lions in this matchup against the Bucs, you got to like it. You got to like it if you're a Lions fan. And I do think Baker Mayfield will have some success because, as we've seen, the Lions' weakest part is their secondary. But that being said, the Lions right now are playing tremendously clean football. Restore the roar. Ford Field will be going nuts. Unless the Lions do something absolutely terrible, which I don't think it's the same old Lions anymore. I do think it'll be a good football game, but I think they wear this team down. In the fourth quarter, they break it open.
Okay, let's finish it off with the 1 seeds, Luke. They're finally in action this weekend. You got the Ravens hosting the Texans over the AFC. You have the San Francisco 49ers hosting those Green Bay Packers in the NFC. Are you giving the Packers or the Texans any chance whatsoever this weekend, Luke?
So, Jay, let's start with the Texans. You know, and the immediate answer is no, absolutely not. But let's look at C.J. Stroud. Let's look at DeMeco Ryans. Let's look at this offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick. Okay, this team won 3 football games last season. Did we give this team, or did I give this team any chance to have any sort of success this year at the beginning of the year? Absolutely not. Did I think they were going to win the division? Wasn't even considering it. Did I think that they were going to go up against the Cleveland Browns and what I thought was the best defense in the NFL and absolutely tear them apart? No, I didn't expect them to do that. So for me to sit here at this point and say, you know, there's no shot that the Texans can do this would be absurd, because they've done so many things this year that has just proven every sort of expert or pundit or whatever you want to call them wrong. And it would not shock me if they've got another trick up their sleeve. Like I said, the way this offense was able to scheme up and execute against the Browns defense, does the offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, have a few more tricks up his sleeve? Does C.J. Stroud keep this Cinderella story going? Again, it's unlikely. I definitely believe the Ravens will win, but I thought the Browns were going to win last week, so it'll be a very, very fun matchup. And on the other side, talk about the Packers, Jay. My answer would be absolutely not. Okay? This is a successful year for the Pack. I mean, I'm sure Brian Hayes will be crying when he hears this, but the idea that this San Francisco 49ers team loses to Green Bay, I can't even fathom that. And just the amount of Pro Bowlers they have on offense against a Packers defense that I think is very, very pedestrian, both against the run and the pass. I can't see it happening. And then the thing I'll also say is part of this Packers resurgence has obviously been Jordan Love, but it's also been Aaron Jones. And I don't think that the Packers run game is going to be that, functional against this front seven of the Niners. So you're looking at just tough matchups across the board. I think the Niners will, again, obviously it'll be a playoff football game, but I think the Niners will prevail.
We'll find out Saturday night. And, Luke, I'll see you Saturday night after the game because you and I are working Saturday again, buddy.
It's the Saturday night special.
It's going to be great. Here are the odds for the entire divisional round, brought to you by FanDuel. Ravens favored over the Texans, Niners over the Pack, Lions over the Bucs, and the Bills over the Chiefs. And don't forget, as I just mentioned, after that Green Bay-San Francisco matchup on Saturday night, Luke and I will be here with SportsCenter with Jay Onrait, brought to you by Harvey's. We will break down that game